Hello world, and welcome back to, or welcome to, the Pop Culture Patter podcast. As always, I'm your host, Callum Brown, and today's guest is Scottish actor Conor McCarron. Conor and I get into it about his career so far, from his breakout lead performance in Peter Mullan's Neds, to starring in James Price's new BBC series Dog Days, which you can now watch on BBC iPlayer. Conor is such a talent and a gem of a guy, and I can't wait to see where his career goes from here. As always, this podcast was recorded with my good friends at the Podcast Studio Glasgow, the East End of Glasgow's digital creative hub, and the only podcast studio in Scotland to offer 18 years of experience in the medium, and is run by a pioneer in British podcasting. To find out more information regarding the wide range of services offered or to book a session, please visit www.podcaststudioglasgow.com. And before we get into this episode, here's a quick word from our sponsor.
This podcast is brought to you by Brown & Co Properties, an award-winning family-run estate agency based in Whitburn, West Lothian. With a property mark protected service for a fixed fee, we are your go-to agent for expert property sales advice in the area. Get on the go with Brown & Co.
Conor, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much, Callum. Thank you for having me, mate.
You're very welcome, and how are you?
Good. I had a wee bit of I was saying to you earlier, I had a wee bit of a tizzy this morning with my daughter trying to get her ready, so I was worried I was going to be late, but we'll go there eventually.
Is she thrown in the kind of diva now
seems
that she's
like
an actress?
Seems like it. I think it's gone to her head. She's not even watched herself yet, and she's already taken on the Madonna.
What age is she now?
She's 3.
Right.
Okay, so November. So she just turned 3 after we filmed Dog Days.
Aye.
So she was 2, but I think I put her down as though she was 3 in it.
Right. Okay.
I think.
Aye. I think so, yeah.
She could play it. She worked it half anyway.
She's got a range. She can play 2.
She can go to 25-year-old if you want. Just a really small, vertically challenged one.
Yeah. Speaking of being on the podcast, it's the first time you've been on a podcast.
This is you're breaking my virginity with the podcast, mate.
Popping your cherry.
Mm-hmm.
Do you listen to any podcasts? You got any ones in particular?
I listened to very early Joe Rogan podcasts. I listened to that. I kind of fell away from it. I listen to certain ones now and again that's maybe get someone that I'm interested in. But I really started enjoying what's the Bobby Lee and Andrew Santini's.
Yes.
What do you call it?
Is it Tiger Belly?
No, it's best friends or friends that fight or something like that.
Right.
I can't remember what the name of the podcast, but it's hilarious, man. Some of the stuff they come away with, and that's amazing. I like Theo Vaughan's. Theo Vaughan's brilliant.
Yeah.
But usually I find him better when he's on someone else's podcast rather than his own.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he seems to just be a wee bit more wild and come away with some of the crying one-liners.
Aye.
He's good.
And what about pop culture? Have you got any pop culture interests outside of what you do?
Music. I've always been crazy on music. Love my movies, of course, TV. I actually kind of go into music through watching movies and hearing music in movies, and then I'd come in with people would be listening to kind of the normal everyday things in primary school and whatever, and I'd be listening to things that I heard in Leon, so I'd be listening to like Sting, Shape of My Heart and stuff like that. You know what I mean? People are listening to Scooter at that time.
Yeah.
So that's I kind of formed my music taste through film. Then at one point, music overtook my love for film.
Right.
Really started enjoying music a lot more. Then flipped it, became a dad, almost fell away from all it. Enjoy my video games as well though, but I'm not a Call of Duty kind of guy. I'm Red Dead, Skyrim. These are my what do you call them?
Story driven kind of.
Story driven. What do you call it? No, it's
first.
Aye.
Is it first person? I don't know.
RPG, a role play game. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. RPG. It's
I'm really not showing off my knowledge in games.
No, listen, now that they're on the podcast, our vocabulary is just all felt as shit, so don't worry about it. It will happen. It happens all the time.
So you like games like Red Dead and stuff like that? And
love it.
I guess they're kind of cinematic as well.
Really, it's the first video game I've actually been brought to tears with, man. Red Dead 2. I like towards the end of the game, man, I was broke.
Yeah.
Big Arthur Morgan.
I know.
What a guy, man. What a legend. And it was weird because when it was coming out and I seen that you were going to be Arthur Morgan and you weren't going to be John Marston anymore. I was a wee bit kind of, John Marston was a badass, man. I really like John Marston. And then it's hard for a franchise to replace the main character.
Yeah.
And actually do it better.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I was blown away with it. Plus you obviously get to, it trickles into the story of how John Marston got. So I loved it all. Loved it.
But it's also cool because you can go either way. You could play it dead noble, which is what my version of
your
Arthur
honour
is.
you have an honour scale, don't you? Aye.
You're kind of like, you don't kill them, you're like, right, I'll let you go this time.
Aye,
But next time you're getting stabbed in the throat.
I think I've played the story that many times that I know there's a certain turning point in the story for Arthur. So up until that turning point, I'm the baddest motherfucker you can be. So I'm tying people up and putting them on train tracks and stuff. Then there's the wee flipper into the story, and I'm like, oh, I'm a saint. I'll help you find a gold necklace or something and bring it back to camp. Or I loved it.
Yeah, I know. It's
even
just,
the bond you make with a bloody horse.
I know.
You know what I mean? You're like, it's a bloody computer game, and you're falling in love with these animals. Brilliant, man.
So immersive, but like the characters are just so well done and so
really well done.
voiced.
Really well
done. Like it's just one of those things that people will probably want to make it into a movie or make it into a TV series or something like that. And I'm like, that would be amazing, but I'm also kind of skeptical.
I know, but I mean, they're doing it with The Last of Us, of course.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I actually kind of enjoyed the TV show.
Right.
But I think if it came to Red Dead, it'd be a really hard one to try and, because the story, even for a game, was fantastic.
The Last of Us for me was one of my favourite games of all time. It got me back into gaming in a huge way.
Right.
But because I've played through the story, I probably spoke about this in quite a lot of podcasts, and people are fed up with me shitting all over the TV series. But for me, I was watching the TV series wanting to love it, and it didn't give me the same experience that playing through it did. And I wasn't huge on the casting as well. I had an idea.
So what did you think of Pedro Pascal? Were you?
I think, see, if I had never played the game, I probably would have loved it.
Aye.
But because I've played the game, it doesn't feel like Joel to me.
Aye.
And I don't feel that Bella Ramsey feels like Ellie to me either.
Both really good though.
Yeah.
And that's the annoying thing about it, is that they're both really, really talented, really good.
Yeah.
Great at playing the part. But did they play the part the way that the gamers would experience Joel and experience the girl in it?
Yeah, and I know they're going for something different. It's like they're saying the game's one thing and the TV series is another thing, but it just kind of felt like very sped up version of the game. Like they're just like, we've got so much story to tell here that we could expand on, and they've just been like that. No, we're just going to replay the greatest hits of the game. It just didn't work for me. And overall, as much as it looks great, the acting's absolutely fine. I was like, yeah, maybe if I didn't play the game, I would have been like totally on board with this, but I've got such a personal experience of the game that it took me out of it.
So what about, did you do the same with Rings of Power? Did you watch Rings of Power?
No, I didn't watch that.
So I kind of had the same thing with Rings of Power. I'm a crazy Tolkien fan, love Lord of the Rings, love the books. Wasn't mad on the Hobbit movies. I thought they were pretty shit. So when I got told Rings of Power were coming, it was totally different. I was hoping for something amazing. Enjoyed it, but I think I was really wanting to enjoy it a lot more than I did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They've done. Plus, it's only based on the kind of the appendices for the books, so it's not even solid, legit story in accordance to the books. Yeah. But they've done all right. They've changed a couple of wee things. So I was actually like seeing where the story was going to go, and then I think they were good in a way. They played it to people who would obviously know the books and know what happened. They were spoon feeding them a little bit, so that like, I was kind of, I know which direction this is going to go and I know what's going to happen. But then they'd done a wee kind of plot twist and turned it around so that it caught me off guard and stuff like that. Whether I like it or no, I'm still a bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I enjoyed the show. I really enjoyed the show, but it's the same kind of thing. It's that really wanting to enjoy something because you've got the wee bias love for it. Yeah,
and I think when Lord of the Rings came out and the two others after it, they were right about our age where we were.
I think 2000. I think the first one was 2000, 2001, and The Return of the King was 2003 that came out.
Yeah, and that's around about the time you and I are quite similar age, that we were kind of growing up and probably developing our love for movies, and they were probably the biggest movies at the time, you know, Lord of the Ring, the Two Towers, and The Return of the King. Return of the King's one of the best movies ever made, probably.
Brilliant.
But yeah, when you've got that relationship from being a kid to then years and years later they're remaking something that's set way back before. I just never. I checked out after The Hobbit. I just thought, right,
The Hobbit.
I don't need to. The Hobbit's probably one of the best books.
The Hobbit was a great book.
But not that
it's a book.
Not that I've read it. I've listened to it.
It's a child's book, and it's like this. You know what I mean? So even taking that book that was only a few hundred odd pages and expanded it into 3 films the same length as The Lord of the Rings, which were 3 full, nearly 1,000-page books.
Yeah.
I don't know how it was. It would have been interesting because initially, when I heard it was going to go into production, it was Guillermo del Toro. It was supposed to be him that took it. I think it was actually him that sparked the whole idea of doing it.
And his take would have been completely different.
That's what I mean. I think now that I've seen what they've done with The Hobbit, I probably would have. I would rather see what Guillermo del Toro done with it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I think it would have been really interesting to see.
I know.
I like his aesthetic and his style. It's good.
Yeah, and Peter Jackson done everything that he needed to do with the Lord of the Rings trilogy. He didn't need to come back, and as you said, it could have just been one movie that they did and just had it a wee bit longer, rather than make it 3 movies. But it's obviously the studio that's got involved with that.
I know.
But yeah, fantastic. Would have loved to have seen Guillermo del Toro's.
Would have been interesting. I did like his show that was just out on Netflix recently. Was it the one about the cupboard of stories or something like that?
Was it the Curious Cabinet or
Curious
something?
Cabinet or something like that? They were brilliant. Really toe cringing, like a lot of horrible scenes in it and stuff, but fascinating. I really enjoyed it.
I just loved the Shape of Water that he did a couple of years ago.
The Shape of Water was fantastic. Pan's Labyrinth and stuff like that. They were good and they're great.
Yeah. Now, you have been an actor since your teens, but before acting, what was your life like? Were you interested in film? Did you have any other interests? Well, it was school. I was still in school. Excuse me. I was still in school up until the first audition in Neds, but me and my mates, I had a JVC video camera, and me and my mates used to make our own wee movies. I used to make my own stop motion films with my toys and stuff like that. Wow. So no really putting it into my head that this is what I want to go off and do. I was just enjoying doing it at that time, and never ever thought there would even be the opportunity to get into be actor or director or a writer or anything. And it just kind of came about that audition came from Neds when I was like 15, and just at the blue went for it. In fact, that's strangely enough, we was at April 8th, so that's almost been a full, I don't know, how many years is that? I was 15. I'm terrible at maths. I'm terrible as well. So it was a long time ago. Long time ago. Then I think they were holding auditions for Neds on the 7th and on the 8th, and I remember kind of just going, nah, I'll just leave it. Yeah, wasn't really bothered. And then I woke up on the 8th, and I shouted through to my dad and I said, "You want to just take me?" And thank God I did. Yeah. And it was from a newspaper article, wasn't it? I think there was an article in the newspaper just asking for people to come to the open audition. Yeah. And the 7th of April was my dad's birthday, so I think I just kind of left it because it was his birthday. And then on the 8th I was like, bugger it, we'll go and try it. And then I got a call back the next day asking if I could come in the following week. And it's quite a lengthy audition process. It seemed that it was a strange one. I think Peter and Lenny is Peter Mullan's brother. He was basically the cast. He was casting for it. They were all being very secretive about it, and because we were all non-actors, I don't think they wanted to give anybody an ego or anything like that. So even as obvious as it was to me, and as obvious as it was to the rest of the other boys who were cast, it was obvious that I was cast for John McGill, but I was still never told that I was going to be playing John McGill, right up until it was too obvious. You know what I mean? Yeah. So there was
was that wee weird, have I actually got this or have I no, what the am I doing here? And then I knew that I was basically cast for it when they brought in a bunch of younger boys to
mirror you.
Aye, almost to see who would be more likely to look like me, and that's what I was like, yeah. Got it. that was what confirmed it for me.
And they're probably doing that to humble you, just to be like, right, we're not telling him, because if we tell him at audition 1 that he's
don't know how he's going to act, exactly,
he'll change the way he's going to act. And I think it still blows my mind to this day that was your first role, and how you're in every scene from when you're introduced. Obviously, the younger boy was in the first wee part, and then as soon as you're introduced on camera, you're pretty much in every scene going forward, which is madness. There's a lot of pressure for a young actor, but you showed even back then that you could carry a movie, and that they trusted you to do so because of your ability.
They put a lot of trust in for being a 16-year-old boy.
Yeah.
Strangely, I don't think I realised that it was, again, first time ever experiencing anything like this. So I didn't actually realise how heavy going each and every day I was in, for 6 in the morning to 9 at night, 10 at night, and we're filming. And luckily I just turned 16, so I was legal to be able to work the hours and stuff like that. I don't think I realised how heavy duty that was for an actor to be given that role. I didn't actually even get to appreciate there's people out there trying to get these roles and have been for years and never really had the chance or the opportunity, and it's roles that I've got since then that I probably feel more pressure. You know what I mean? Just because I'm well aware that I knocked it off on that first one there. That was a lucky, you know what I mean? Yeah. So even just like Dog Days there, that's probably been one of the biggest kind of roles that I've had in probably since Neds. Yep. I've had supporting roles and wee tiny bits here and there. But it was fun though, wasn't it? I mean, because it was a bunch of other young boys as well, you know what I mean? It was all laughs and giggles and stupidity, to be honest. And
did you still keep in touch with any of the guys from the film? Was it that kind of environment that was kind of like see them all, or did you?
No, I think there was all good intentions. I kept in touch, but Greg McCready, he was in Neds, and he's a fascinating guy. He just as his own person. He's a poker player, professional poker player with Tourette's.
Right.
So I don't know how the hell that works, man. You know what I mean? Like try to keep, you know what I mean? Like focus. You know, I don't know. He's fantastic, really interesting guy. You might have even actually met him. It was at a Dog Days premiere. So if you seen a guy bouncing a boot, twitching like that was him.
I have to say, like, I met some of your boys at the Dog Days premiere, and they're all really brand new, man. I don't know what I was expecting, because it's the first premiere that I've ever gone to, and I was kind of like, who am I to be going to a fucking premiere? You know what I mean? I've just rocked up and started a podcast.
Fake it till you make it, Cal. Fake it till you're making it. Walk in as if you wanted them.
Everybody was brand new with me, you know what I mean? Everybody had time to come over and talk, and you and I, like, I'd been meaning to come talk to you from when we finished the film. Been meaning to come up and say congratulations, what a performance and stuff like that. I never really got to until later on at the night, until the after party. And the two of us kind of walked by each other and been like,
that was a weird. I think there was somebody standing in between us, and then when they moved it away, I was like, I'm sure I know you, Cal.
I know, and I'm like, you're the fucking actor that we just watched in this show. Like,
would you believe?
I'm just like, that's wild, but no, it was such a good experience, and it was good to actually get to meet you.
That was a great night,
as well, because that's probably led to here. If we'd never met that,
exactly.
We would have been in. I mean, I would have been trying. But
the next day, I was like, I think I offered to go on that guy's podcast, man. It's like, shit, man. I don't go and talk that shit in this podcast.
Well, you backed it up anyway.
I've made it. I made it.
Going back to the audition for Neds, what were the kind of things that they had you doing? Like, because it's so new for you they probably were working workshops and stuff like that they were doing.
We eventually go to the workshops that we called Fight Club, because we were all learning how to do the choreography for the fighting and do it safely, of course. But the first audition, it was in Hope Street, just above, is it Cafe Nero? I don't even know if Cafe Nero's still there. just across for the fireman statue.
Yes.
So there was a Cafe Nero there. Right above there was where we went for the first auditions.
Oh, wow.
And there was a wee waiting room, and there was a few people there. I was sitting with my dad, and someone walked in to the audition room, and basically I think the whole of even Central Station must have heard this guy shouting, go off. He's not like, come on, you fucking go ahead, like aggressive towards whoever was doing the audition with him. He walked out, I was in next, and then Lenny Mullan, Peter's brother, he said, did you hear anything? Did you hear any of that last audition? And I was like, aye. And he says, don't think you have to do that. He was like, that's what that boy wanted to do, you do what you want to do. And so that kind of sunk in, and that was cool. So I knew, just by the way that Lenny said it, it probably wasn't what they were looking for.
Yeah.
So I tried to do the dead man's shoes, you know what I mean? Play it with Paddy Considine, really low key, threatening aggressively. And it was basically just this guy, Paul Donnelly, who was the fight choreographer. He was actually a teacher in it as well. This guy's going to come up and basically tell you you're working on his territory, he doesn't want you here, blah, 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 just defend yourself kind of thing. And that was it. And I remember it was obviously my first time ever experiencing anything like that. So I remember staring, there was a moment of like 20 seconds of silence, I just staring at each other, and then I started fizzing out. I started seeing white coming into my eyes now, and I was like, whoa, that was insane. I was nervous, you know what I mean? I was 15-year-old, so but whatever I done must have worked to some extent. I liked it. So, and then I got a call back the next day asking if I could come in the next week, and then it was just the second audition was kind of like a couple of scenes that we went through. And then it started falling into the workshop stuff, because I think they kind of narrowed down who they wanted to be in the movie, or who they wanted to be cast.
Yeah.
And then they started getting that group of lads into Glasgow. It was GFT, the Winning Govern film.
I'm not too sure, man. I'm not.
Film. I can't remember what it's called.
I think I know where you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Basically just across the, at the tail end of Govan Road.
Yes. I just don't know the name.
That's annoying me. Film house or something like that.
Yeah.
So we were going in there and we were doing the kind of, so that was bro, I was loving it.
Yeah.
Loving it, just charging at boys, and it's as if you're just playing again, you know what I mean? So it was good, that was good fun. And then eventually started figuring out that I'd go to the part of John McGill.
And at what point do you get the script? Is it once they've given you the job? You never got a script?
I never got a script. I got a script, I think, on like the last week. I think the day that we were in Blair Drummond Safari Park, when we were shooting the scenes up there, which was relatively close to the end of the shoot. I think that's when I actually got handed a script.
Wow.
So, I mean, we got our sides on the day. Even similar to the way like Pricey wants to work it, the script is just a somewhat guide as to how the story's going to go.
Yeah.
You as an actor, you put your own
stamp on it. Yeah.
Exactly, into the scene. You put your own stamp into the scene. React how you find that, how you think your character would react, as long as the kind of the story's continuing. You know what I mean? So that was a lot of fun. That was you didn't feel really pinned down in that theatrical sense of lines, and you know what I mean? Yeah,
and a lot of improvisation, I can imagine.
Aye, and I find a lot of people struggle with the improvisation side of it. I feel that you can get away with so much more doing improvisation, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know, you don't have that burden of, I need to remember this, but then there's other actors that don't like working like that and actually need that.
Yeah.
That wee kind of, this is my cue, this is my line, this is that. I just love the wee kind of spontaneous moments.
Yeah, I think one memory that sticks out is the guy that played Han Solo in the Solo movie that they got released not long ago. Apparently the reason that that didn't really work is because he wasn't very good at improvising. It was very much he needed to stick to the script, and I think for a character like Han Solo you needed
it's Harrison Ford, he was a bit you could tell he was a bit more, it was corny at times, but it was brilliant. It worked, it really worked.
And like back then you probably wouldn't have thought of like a process of how you deal with like being an actor, but what happens like when you're not on set, when you're thinking about the next day's shoot? Did you have any like anxiety, or did you think, oh fuck, or was it pretty comfortable?
I mean on Neds I didn't really have that so much, because I was probably getting blindsided, you know what I mean? So the next day I was finding out what was happening when I showed up in the morning, you know what I mean? Unless it was maybe we'd be told that we're going to have the big fight scene on the bridge tomorrow or something like that, because we knew that'd be coming, because we'd have to rehearse for it and do the choreography for it. But no, that was pretty good in the sense of knowing what was coming.
Yep.
Kept it fresh for me.
Yeah.
But since then, in other projects and other things I've worked on, knowing that there's a big, or what I would consider to be a big moment, that can add that wee, a bit, like, you want to be able to nail that. You don't want to make an arse of it.
Yeah.
Someone's putting trust in you to be able to carry this character that they've put their years of writing into and their passion into, and somebody can just fuck up like that in a second. So there's that. You just, I hope I'm pulling this off you know what I mean?
In a way, that's probably the last project that you probably feel like that, because you're going in blind and you're like, right, I'm never going to be able to do this again.
Aye.
But like, being that young and seeing the film on screen, did it give you, did you look at it like fuck, or did you look at the give you confidence from watching it back?
When I watched Neds back?
Yeah.
No, I shot a brick. No, I was watching, I was like, the size of my face, man. And obviously I'm 16 at the time. Well, I think by the time it came out I was closer to 18.
Yeah.
But no, it was excruciatingly embarrassing at times, man.
I can imagine.
Really embarrassing at times. But then still, that's just fucking awesome, man. I'm sitting here in San Sebastian watching myself in a screen. It was only through the kind of reaction of a lot of people that telling me they really enjoyed it, that gave me the wee kind of thing to go, maybe I'm just seeing it totally different because it's me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then it's like yourself, you look at yourself in a picture, even if you hear a voice note of yourself, you're like, that doesn't even sound like me.
I know.
So it's really weird, you know what I mean? But I've grown to kind of just, it is what it is. You know what I mean? That's your job at the end of the day, and be proud of the fucking fact that you've got the opportunity to watch yourself on a big screen.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Because when I was at the premiere for Dog Days, I was trying to look at your reactions to how you like watching it, and you were totally engrossed in it, whereas Shannon was like hands over.
You must have caught me for the whole 6 minutes I was in. I stayed there for the first few minutes and then buggered off out and get a pint.
Really?
Then I came back in for like the last. I think I came in just after the Terry and Doddy bit.
Yeah.
So
that's mad.
I disappeared and just sat in the bar and had a pint.
Nice.
Then came back in.
That's class.
So that was fun.
I can imagine that being like a quite a intimidating thing to watch yourself on a screen like that, but.
Well, I'd already seen it.
Exactly.
I've been 20 times. You know what I mean? So I was like, right, man, I'm down, cool. But then my cousin Ross, he'd text me while he was in there watching it. He's like, mate, where are you? This is getting some fucking reactions here.
Yep.
And I was like, is it brilliant? I was like, let me finish my pint. So, but it went down really well. A lot of people enjoyed it.
Yeah. We're going to get into Dog Days in a bit. We're doing a wee bit of a timeline for you.
Build it up.
Because, you know, there's a lot to get through. And for me, the one thing that I was very hesitant to talk about and that I wasn't sure but got your blessing to was the situation when Neds get released. There's an instance that was involving your dad that happened right at that moment when the film was getting released.
What kind of timing was that, Cheers?
And it was like, couldn't be worse timing for your career. But I wanted to talk about the events of how that was for you, because do you think people looked at the headlines, saw the movie and thought, I'm not going anywhere near this guy? And
I don't know.
Do you think it kind of put anything? I
don't know if that came. I mean, it might have. I mean, I remember getting old people phoning up complaining because I had my willy out on the BBC once. So you never know how people take things.
Yeah.
Me personally, if I'd seen that, I mean, I don't imagine there's people that don't go watch Ronnie O'Sullivan play snooker because his dad was in jail.
Yeah.
Woody Harrelson's dad was a hitman for the bloody Hells Angels and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But it was a timing thing. Neds was coming out, and the incident just happened, and it was one thing that my dad was really aware of as well. He was like, his biggest fear was this having an effect on any potential future that I could have had.
Yeah. And
I never took it as that. I just, as what it is. Your life is your life, and you know what I mean? So we go down our own avenues, and I don't think it shouldn't really have that much effect. And if it does have that effect on people that they don't want to work with me through that, then good. I'd rather not work with that type of person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was one of the kind of things. But the media bloody loved it, didn't they? I got interviewed after a few newspapers, and they were snakes to interviewing me as if like, oh, Ned's brilliant, this is going to be good for you, and then it came out the next day, Ned star, dad, murder, you know, it was, so I get done with that on a couple of levels, but
and you're getting that at a young age as well. You're a teenager at this point, and I don't think anybody was sensitive to that, and that's the media for you. I know, I sound fucking baldy now.
Which is a great look for you, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Really well. I mean,
I don't have many options, so it's just as well.
I know. I think that I said that to you when I was talking to you for the first time. I was like, I totally didn't recognise you. Didn't put two and two together who you were, because
I know a lot of people don't.
Aged at that time because you were a young boy.
Aye.
And you're not got any hair, and I was like,
what the hell happened to you, mate?
I went home thinking, fucking hell, he's going to think I'm just some asshole that doesn't know who he is. But yeah, that experience, like was there no any mental health problems around that time? Were people generally,
for me personally,
you still offers, and was there offers coming in?
No, I mean, there probably was mental health issues, but being at the age I was at, didn't really, you know what I mean, I couldn't really comprehend that I probably was stressed, and you know what I mean, like, it's only getting older you actually start realising what stress actually is. So looking back, I was probably stressed and no realising it.
Yeah.
But then also again with the media, the way I was hyped up.
Yep.
And being young and naive, I'm sitting there thinking I've got it made. I'm like, I'm brilliant, that's it. I'm sorted. I'm going to be getting offers here and there, and that should be me. And it didn't. It went right downhill, and I was quiet for ages.
Yeah.
And then Peter Mullan ended up, he enrolled me into the Scottish Youth Theatre.
Right.
Excuse me. And I think he done that knowing I could get a wee bit of education on the other side of it, the theatre side of it as well.
Yeah.
So that helped. But it also helped me understand that I much prefer TV and film to theatre.
Right.
From an actor's point of view. Just talking about the improvisational stuff is totally different.
Yeah.
Totally different. To the point where you're doing 6 weeks of rehearsing these scenes over and over again. And it's dangerous because me personally, I feel that I can get trapped into remembering the lines, remembering the actions of the scene playing out, that it almost becomes lifeless. If that makes sense. I think the wee improvisational thing just makes things seem so much more natural, and it seems like a normal conversation you would have, and that's probably what a lot of people find with like the Dog Days and a lot of things that me and Pricey have worked on, is it always seems like that conversation can be going on in your own kitchen between your parents or between your brother and sister. You know what I mean? It feels very close to home, very natural. So that's what I was a wee bit. I wasn't mad on the theatre side of it for that.
Yeah.
Great playing in front of a live audience. That was great. But I definitely prefer TV and film.
Was Peter a kind of role model? Did he kind of put his hand around you and been like, after all that happened, or like, did he kind of protect you in any way, or was there? You got any? No,
I don't think he felt that he needed to, which is really nice. He absolutely helped me in massive ways as the process of thinking how I should think as an actor before a scene, thinking about what would the character be thinking, so he was a really great mentor and coach, but in a really nice, humbling way. It wasn't I didn't feel that he felt that he had to throw an arm around me and kind of, you know what I mean? I didn't feel like it was like, I felt that it was a kind of, he just gave me the kind of, Conor, you know what you're doing, you know what I mean? It was that, so that was nice, especially at that age. You're working on this movie, there's adults all around about me working, and these people doing this have been doing it for years. And then on walks this wee 16-year-old. And so I think it was nice to be given the position of, this is your job, you should be kind of knowing what you're doing with it. I'm a director, I'll direct you. I'm not, you know what I mean? So it was nice. It was a good balance. And it was like that with everybody. With everybody though. Especially because it was non-actors, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was watching an interview with the two of you, and he was just kind of saying that, you know, he didn't have to give you much direction. He was like, he just got it and was absolutely incredible, and like he's a really good actor. And for you being their first film, like coming from him is massive high praise. And like,
ironically, that might have been an interview. I can't remember the guy's name that done the interview. He does a lot of TV.
Was it Empire magazine at the time, but he's now on the BBC.
I think he was BBC now, isn't he? He is now, but does he have curly hair?
Yes.
Yes, I don't know. I can't remember the boy's name, man, but it was... Yes, please, thank you. I can't remember the boy's name, but he was... I remember the interview. Me and Peter had literally just came off of the flight. I can't remember if we came from Glasgow or we came from San Sebastian to London to do the interview. We get taken off the plane, basically put in our car, taken straight to that interview, and I remember being absolutely gubbed. I was shattered. And I think that very interview that you're talking about, I was like that, spaced out. And Peter's a great guy to listen to, man. He's a storyteller. Yeah. But at that point, he's the answer to his question went on for about 3 minutes, and I remember like that zoning out.
Yeah.
And the guy turned around and was like, "And what do you think of that, Conor?" And I was like, "Shit." So I'm just gonna have to make something up on the spot. So if anybody knows the interview that I'm talking about or that we're talking about, you'll probably see me speak a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Because I had no clue what he asked. Because I was so zoned out and I just rambled a lot of shite.
It was funny when I watched it because I didn't know that he was being the interviewer, and I know him now doing the BBC stuff, and he's quite good at what he does.
He is, he's good.
But seeing him like that young boy, I just thought, God, Peter Mullan could tear him apart at any second.
I know.
I always find them quite weird press junkets. Like you've got how long do you get? Like 25 minutes between with somebody, or even less than that?
I think it was less than that.
So is it like 5 minutes per person or something, and or more?
Something. See, even thinking back to that, that's a wee bit of a blur. But I think it was because I remember doing an interview and going for 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes, then getting into another interview, like with the Film 4 one, and they obviously just scheduled it into the 2 days that I was in London or whatever it was, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then like San Sebastian as well, going to the San Sebastian one was funny because I think a lot of the kind of media over there, I just kept getting asked the same question. Is gang violence really like that in Glasgow? And me being a young boy, I'm sitting there like, it's mental. What's it for? It was nothing, man. Nothing compared to what it used to be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm sitting bigging it up. Glasgow's a hard place, aye. Stayed in Neilston, for fuck's sake, man, you know what I mean? That was cool.
I know. I always found those kind of press junkets mad. It must be such a boring drag for the actors and the directors that have to sit and do the same interview over and over and over again all day.
It's how do you make the same answer sound different? You know what I mean? Because you're getting asked the same question for different interviewers several times throughout the day. So how do you keep it interesting?
I know.
You don't want everybody to go and read this article and then read that article and you're like, it's just the same fucking interview.
And in the meantime, obviously I watched that interview, but I've been watching a lot of the movies you've been in, and some of them I've already seen and just revisited them because I'm like, fuck, I didn't realise Conor was in that movie. Caliber on Netflix.
Fuck Caliber, that's right, aye.
You played something that stuck with me was you were standing at the bar and the camera's not on you but it's on your hands, right. And you're like doing like this kind of like flipping like a matchstick or like a coin or something like that around your knuckles, and I'm just like, that's such a clever thing because it's got me looking at him and it's got me you've probably not noticed that you're doing it.
No, I don't. But I don't actually think I've fully watched Caliber.
No,
I don't think I fully watched it.
Great movie.
It was a good movie. Got a lot of I think that was the one Stephen Stephen, what's his name? The author, for God's sake, Stephen King.
Yeah. Was that one of his?
Is it Stephen King?
I don't know.
Stephen King's the author, isn't he? Why is my mind gone terribly blank with names just now?
I know, it's because you're on a podcast.
Is Stephen King in it? The author does So he, it's not his, but he wrote in on it. He wrote something about it saying, this is great, this is what kind of movies that he wants to be seen. So that was cool.
Yeah.
Plus, I was also meant to have more scenes in that. And the schedule on the day that we were meant to shoot the scenes that was additional for my character, they messed up the schedule and I was axed. I was cut.
That's my only complaint about the movie. There's not enough Conor McCarron. And
it's never enough Conor McCarron.
Because they like tease you at the start and you're like getting aggressive with the guy, just being, I think there's a story there that they didn't really expand on.
Exactly.
One of the girls
who was supposed to be like, it's supposed to be my character's ex or my character's bird at the time or something, and that was obviously going to be expanded on. There was going to be more to that, and then schedule.
But then even at the end with hunting in the forest and stuff like that, I thought, where the fuck's Conor?
Why that character could have well been involved in the hunt. It would have made more sense for his character to be involved in the hunt. He had a bit of venom towards the other character in it. So
yeah, but I mean, it's a great movie. But like the complaint is there's not enough Conor in it.
We could always do with more.
That's kind of the same with balance, not symmetry as well. You were in that, but they're hardly shown.
Don't know what the hell happened to that. I don't know what happened to that, man. That was again we had a lot of stuff, and it was Martin Bell, who's in Neds with me. Sweetheart of a guy. Me and him were like, oh brilliant, we're working with each other again, amazing. And we filmed it all, and then I remember I think he went to the premiere or he went to a cast and crew and messaged me and was like, mate, we've been totally fucking cut. And I was like, thank fuck. Because it was a bit, I think it was no getting a bit of a good reception, that film.
It wasn't great. The good thing about it is the soundtrack that Biffy...
But that was the whole point of the movie. It was Biffy Clyro, but it was I don't know, it was a strange one. It was just the whole shoot was a bit, I don't know, it didn't feel people were passionately involved. It felt like, we're making a movie for the Biffy Clyro album.
Wow.
That's what it felt like. Wow. And it was like, this is a long ass music video.
It
was weird.
And if anything, that makes them look better because it's like the music's great.
I don't know. It just makes the songs seem way better than they even actually are. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I can remember being really excited to watch it based on the record that they made, thinking this, I've got to watch this, and I only really watched it within the last couple of weeks because I knew you were in it. And
again, that's one I've not watched it.
Yeah,
I've still not watched it.
I mean, there's
no much to watch.
Not much to watch. No,
it's not very good.
Again, no Conor McCarron. But the other stuff that you've done, I haven't been able to source on whatever platforms. Like I wanted to watch Catch Me Daddy, wanted to watch For Those in Peril. Everything that you've got more time in.
Like, what the hell do you watch
I can't fucking find it anywhere.
Catch Me Daddy, I'm surprised. I think because of the subject matter in Catch Me Daddy, it was just, it didn't get touched on a lot as much as it should have.
Yeah. I know James was saying it was a fantastic movie as well, and I
really enjoyed Catch Me Daddy. It was the story was fantastic, and I was kind of surprised with the reception that got. I just felt like that maybe, I don't know, give it 10 years, might be one of these cult classic ones, but it was strange because again, I don't even know where I could go and watch Catch Me Daddy.
Yeah, and that's the frustrating thing is like when you want to watch something, like if you're following an actor like yourself, where the fuck do you find all the films? You know what I mean? They're not on all of the platforms. It
doesn't make it easy when you're trying to make a show reel, it's like, where the fuck do I find my films, man? So I got an agent here.
I know, but there's so many for me still to check out, and you know, if I have to pay for it, I'm gonna.
Try no. If you can get away with it, don't.
You just need to let me know which ones are worth the watch. Because if you told me to watch Balance, Not Symmetry, I would.
Nah. Nah, you're alright, mate.
You're hardly in it.
No.
But then that led you down to meet James, and James has kind of put you in the majority of his work, hasn't he, since you've met?
Pretty much, aye.
And you've done a lot of shorts, which are fantastic. They're real gritty, and, you know, Boys' Night, you've got a very small role in that again. But
playing a Rangers supporter.
Aye.
That's when you could tell I was acting.
Which I always want to find out what the fuck happened. Did Cam and Jack kill them, or like what happened?
I don't know. It was a funny one. That was a funny one.
And then that led you to Dog Days, which has just come out on BBC iPlayer, which is frustrating the fucking life out of me that the BBC haven't done any promotion for it.
I know, there should have been so much more, man.
James was saying you can't search for it on the iPlayer. You have to go into a certain category to find it.
Aye, there was something a lot. And then I think for the first couple of years it was up, there was like only episodes 1 to 4 or something like that.
Yeah.
A couple of people messaged me saying, why am I only getting episodes 1 to 4?
Yeah.
I was like, I fucking know. I haven't even checked it myself yet.
It's just frustrated the life out of me that when you see somebody like James and yourself as so talented as you guys are, that they're not promoting it when they'll fucking promote Strictly Come Dancing. You know what I mean? Like, who gives the fuck?
But this is the BBC, man. It's just they'll promote things in their own way, and if they're going to be making a lot more off a certain show, then that's the one they'll focus on. You know what I mean?
I know.
It's a shame because it is great. in a creative sense, Strictly Come Dancing's fucking shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you've got people that want to write their own thing, make their own art, and put it out there and be really creative with things, and in terms of making a story in a movie or a TV show, and it's just swept under the rug, basically.
Yeah.
Put under the radar.
And it's like, I was saying this to James as well, it's frustrating as a fan of his and meeting him, what a gorgeous person he is in terms of like just how amazing a soul he is, that nobody's given him a budget, that just somebody give him something.
I think that's the point that me and Pricey have been getting to, is I think we just kind of need to say fuck it and just try do it ourselves, wing it ourselves, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Me and Pricey have formed an amazing relationship with each other. And I think there's a nice balance with each other. He'll balance me out to give me confidence to go, no, Conor, you can act, mate, you're there, you know what I mean? Don't blah blah blah, and keeps me going, keeps my confidence going. And then likewise with him, his wee social anxiety side that almost comes out sometimes, and then we'll have a talk and he'll be like, that's why I need you, man, I want you with me and what. Yeah. So no, we've got a really good thing going with each other. Also, we've got a great, Pricey has formed great relationships with great DOPs, great producers who would be willing to just go off their own back and make things, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's what we need to do.
Yeah. Because you watch Dog Days and you just think, what else more does he need to give you? Like, it's so competently directed, it's so well written, so well done, everything's spot on. Everybody seemed invested in it as well, like the cast all seemed invested in it, and you know, everybody working behind the scenes, it seemed like it must have been quite a really good set.
It felt that way. It felt that everybody who was involved wanted to be involved. Granted, like any workplace, you'll have the wee dips in morale some days, and then it's having the awareness to see the energy in people dipping and try and bring it back up, and then likewise people would do it with myself, and just keeping that buzz going. And we've had a few challenges come up, you know what I mean? I was talking to you earlier about the all of a sudden script change that we had to make, and Pricey just pulled that right out the bag, and there was a few kind of doubtful minds on it. You know, we're just like, boom, no, let's do it. We don't really have much bloody option here, so let's go with this, shoot it, see what happens, and what we shot is what you can watch, and it works. It works.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. And obviously, I've seen it as the film part, like that was all put together as a film feature at the premiere. We didn't watch it in split episodes like it is now.
So that was the 60. That was a editor's cut, if you will.
Yeah.
But then the episodes are basically a director's cut. So there's almost 20 minutes more footage on the episodes than there was on the edit for the premiere.
Yeah, oh man, yeah.
I think it was a 60-minute edit for the premiere.
Yeah. I can kind of spot a few scenes. I don't know all of them to be like, that's different, because it's been a while since I saw the film at the premiere, but there was a couple of instances I thought, right, I've not seen that before. I think it was maybe just your banter with the newsagent guy.
The newsagent, the one in the show. Then there was the other wee scene with the pastor as well.
Yeah.
In the tunnel, singing to him. He was great, that wee guy, man. The back and forth we were getting on the days were brilliant. They were really funny.
I feel like I know him for something. Is he actually an actor, or?
I think he is,
I feel like I've seen him in a few things, and I'm like, like fair play.
He was good. He was hilarious. He was good. He played that wee pastor part amazing. Pastor Paul. I'm Pastor Paul. It was brilliant, man. I thought it was hilarious.
You've come full circle, because Neds, you were in pretty much every scene from when you're introduced. Dog Days, you're in every scene near enough. I can't think of any that you're not in. And also, you're working with first-time actors quite a lot. You worked on Neds. You were a first-time actor, and there was probably other first-time actors around. And Catch Me Daddy, I believe the main actress in that
as well. A lot of some of the boys on it as well. A lot of them were all first-timers.
Yeah, and then Shannon Allen in Dog Days. How much?
But you wouldn't believe as a first-time actor, she's fantastic. You wouldn't believe she's a first-time actor in it.
And like, how was that experience, seeing them, knowing that you've been at that point at one stage? And
it's good.
You get to see what their process is like.
It's good. It's nice to be able to. It's nice to be able to know that I've came for that experience, as you said, on Neds, first time acting, working with a bunch of people who'd never done it before. So you're on the same boat. That was nice. But then on Dog Days, I'd obviously had experience on other things I've worked on, and then seeing likes Billy, Shannon, and these people who are just doing this for the very first time, random kind of audition and land a part.
Yeah,
it's good to see them go through that process, but it's also nice to know that, listen, I came for that as well. So don't let lights and cameras throw you. Don't just you were picked for the part for a reason. Do what you were doing and be confident. Be confident in yourself and carry the part, because you are the part. Yeah.
So did that become a bit of a mentoring role, or did you step back and let them do it?
No, I mean, I didn't have to. I mean, I didn't want to feel as though I was trying to be a mentor or anything like that, because it's no my choice to make the character up for somebody who's playing a totally different character. That's down to that person. But if there was ever any kind of nervous struggles or any parts that they would find challenging, if they were asking questions, I would do my best to help them on it. And purely through coming for the experience myself and having great people like Lenny Mullan, Peter Mullan to be able to guide me when I was doing it. I was able to reflect on some of the stuff that they taught me. And I was able to kind of relate back to likes of Shannon and Billy. But even then, I was that was maybe once or twice. They carried their own characters really well.
I know, and what powerhouse performances that they gave as well. And I think that was what was more expanded on that I can think of was the other, was it Billy that was playing the other guy?
Billy played Billy.
All right,
So I think Pricey changed the character's name from whatever it was to Billy because during the audition process he liked that guy so much and he wanted to remember who he was that he just changed the name of the character to Billy.
Right.
I think that's what he said. I'm sure he said that to me.
I think there was a few expanded scenes with him that I didn't notice before. But no, it's fantastic, and like I hope more people watch it because, you know, it's definitely the quality of the writing, the directing, the acting, it's all there. It's everything you need. You've got drama, you've got comedy. I mean, it's very, very funny. Like, it's more funny than it has rights to be, I think.
That's a good way to say it, actually. It has a lot more comedic moments than you, for that type of style, you wouldn't expect.
Yeah, like the Napoleon Dynamite. I thought that
I had to ask that boy. Because obviously he was just like kind of extra.
Yeah.
And we were doing the scene over and over, and I was like, he reminds me of Napoleon Dynamite, man. And I was like, would that be too? I had to go up to him. I was like, listen, man, can I run with a couple of like bam ups here, like slander you a wee bit? You alright with taking it?
Yeah.
The guy was an absolute gem. He was like, aye. And then on the day of the premiere, it was my mate James that came up to me. He was like, mate, that Napoleon Dynamite line, man, that was brilliant. I was like, I forgot I even done that, man. But there's the wee moments, and again with the Pastor Paul scene.
Yeah.
Basically improvised, man. It was and it was just great, the back and forth. I really wish we could have like shown you every take on these scenes, because they were all different. They were all hilarious, man. They were great. Yeah.
We want a super cut of Dog Days now.
I know.
The editor's version.
I know.
The director's
cut. Extended version.
Yeah. And you obviously play guitar and sing in this as well. Was that's something that you do out with film? You're in a band. You're just a singer in the band, or you do?
I just sing in the band because there's 3 amazing guitarists in the band. Then we have a bass player and we have our drummer. But the band's actually we've quietened down a bit with the band. We've not really done much recently. I think we're all just really busy schedules and stuff. But I was running with the band for a while. A Place for Rivals, we were called. And the idea was to have a couple of Place for Rivals tracks in Dog Days.
Right.
I think just because of the way it was going with the band at the time, everybody was too busy and stuff like that. So that idea kind of just got a pin in it, and it never really came to anything.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was younger, getting my smoke, my weed, and mad into music. Loved music, and the reason the character's called Zoso is after the Jimmy Page.
Yep, I thought that.
And Led Zeppelin, and I've got that tattooed on me, and it's my email address and everything. So Pricey thought that'd be a nice touch to call me Zoso.
That's amazing.
So that was cool, and that was just purely for my love for Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
So I get into music myself, get into a bit of guitar. I didn't ever like consider myself being a singer.
Right.
I just always tried to imitate.
Right.
So I just always tried to sound exactly like the track.
Yep.
And people bought that as me being a good singer. People were like, you can sing. And I was like, okay.
That's so funny. I did the same for so long. I would be a singer in bands, and it was always kind of covers. And then we went off and did our own stuff, but it was never great. I didn't like the creative.
I think that was a challenge with the band as well. Sometimes everyone had their own creative input.
Yep.
But it was nothing. Nobody had the wrong creative input. It just didn't gel in a lot of things.
Yeah.
Or it didn't kind of go down the way. I mean, I there was songs in the band that I would sing. I just didn't enjoy singing.
Right.
It's my fucking lyrics. You know what I mean? It was my so. But I didn't enjoy singing it because stylistically I felt that wasn't my range, or it wasn't how I would sing. But even then, I don't really know what my singing voice is. Like Conor McCarron's singing voice, I don't know what it is because I'm too busy trying to sound like Howlin' Wolf. I'm too busy trying to sound like Robert Plant.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Aye. It's a weird one. I'm glad you've kind of brought that up because it's making me think about my days singing. And I was my first band were an Oasis tribute band, basically.
Yes.
And I'd kind of always fancied being an actor as well at one point, and for me, I got lost in the role of playing Liam Gallagher and completely.
Did you do it as good as the Bo Selector one? Television.
Probably.
He was brilliant at it, man.
Much worse. I think I even put on a fake Manchester accent when I was talking on stage to a school full of Scottish guys.
You know what, man? You sound like you're from Glasgow. They
knew who I was. They knew I was Scottish, and I still, I think I was like
still going up with the wee circle shades and that, old man, pulling half in the Manchester accent.
Whitburn and all that. It was just
Whitburn.
so fucking cheesy. But like that led me down a path of. I got that engrossed in becoming somebody else, and I enjoyed that out with. It then made me, Callum, pushed down to the bottom, and I didn't know who Callum was, and I was always playing characters, and that's kind of where the passion for maybe always kind of wanting to be an actor came from, because it was, you could jump into someone else's shoes and
it's easier sometimes. You find it's just an easier way of conducting yourself, especially in terms of performing on a stage. You know what I mean? It's easier to come out and kind of pretend to be somebody else.
I know.
Than it is to be just plain Jane who you are. You know what I mean?
I know. And
you feel less scrutinised, I think, if you go and be somebody else.
And it's funny you mentioning like you're trying to sing like everybody else, because of course you are. If you're covering a song from an artist, you're going to try and sound like the record, or else it's going to sound weird.
So that was my problem when it came to Set You Free.
Yeah.
The Entrance, Set You Free. We had, I can't remember the other options, but I think we did have a couple of ideas as to what the song would be. And then Pricey loving these bits and pieces, and Entrance, Set You Free, and all that kind of, which I enjoy listening to that, but it's no my go-to.
Yeah.
Then he said Entrance, Set You Free, and I think I actually said the exact same thing to Shannon in Dog Days as to what I actually said to Pricey when he suggested that being a song. I was like, Pricey, it's a fucking dance song. It's like I'm sitting with a six string, man, you want me to put on fucking ding 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 ding, and I was like, how the hell do I... It's like, we'll try and figure it out.
He's gone home and written that in the script.
He's like there and then, like, yeah, bastard, like, take that. So it worked, I think. Obviously, it works to some extent. People will come back saying they really enjoyed it.
As Shannon said, you made it your own.
Aye.
And
I did. Don't get me wrong, man. A couple of Jack Daniels before the take on the stage, man. That probably helped the old singing voice coming out.
yeah.
Nah, I'm looking. I don't work drunk. I don't work.
I thought it was mad, like when I was watching Dog Days for the first time and hearing like the Who, Real Me, and all that. I was like, hold on. There's real music in this one, like, and obviously Pricey had bits and pieces in Boys Night, but I was like, how the fuck has he managed to get all these songs? It's obviously the perk of the BBC, but having all those songs was amazing. Like, it totally made it feel even more like
it was good. It was a cracking couple of choices. There was but there was also ones that we didn't get.
Yeah,
there was ones that we didn't get, but we want to get the Chasing Status. I am a man with an empty... I can't remember the actual... Temptation or something it's called.
Right.
Great track. We were trying to get that in for one and we couldn't get it. The Gazafelstein Hater Glory. which is the one driving the car.
Yeah.
That's a fantastic tune, man.
It was
Fantastic.
Very Miami Vice, that scene.
Aye, that's Pricey though, man.
Yeah.
Pricey's he's a Vice nut.
Yeah. Which is amazing.
Aye, man, it's cool. I've never done Miami Vice. I never done it growing up. It wasn't something I really watched, but that was something he watched with his dad, I think, and he just obviously loved it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the Hail of Glory one, I remember showing the music video for that, which is a fantastic music video. I showed that to Pricey ages ago, and the two of us were just like, oh, it's fucking so cool, man. It'd be cool to get that tune in something.
Yeah.
And we got there and we managed to get it in, so that was cool. I liked that.
That's amazing, man. And just to go back to the band thing, so you're not pursuing, you still doing it, or are you gigging or whatever?
Nah, I think we've just kind of let it be just now. I mean, we could probably come back round and do it. You know what I mean? But it's just all went quiet now. I think our drummer, he was doing 2 boxing fights, a 20-mile marathon, and a skydive on the one day and shit. So I think he's pretty busy. Our bassist Jimmy, he works on events a lot. Right. I actually went to Saudi with him to work on a festival. Me and Sam, the drummer. So that was a random cool experience.
Yeah,
it was on a festival called Middle East.
Right,
and that was mental. I've never been to that part of the world. Well, I've never been anywhere in the Middle East or Saudi or anything like that. So that was really, really cool getting to see there.
Yeah.
So I think everybody's just really busy with it. You know what I mean? We're all really busy with their own stuff. So I think if we really wanted to bring it all back together, we could definitely get back into it.
Yeah. There is music out there from the band, isn't there?
We're on Spotify. We've got a couple of tracks on Spotify, but we've also got more tracks that we've not recorded and that are unreleased, which are a couple of my favourite ones.
Yeah.
So it would be good to go back and even touch on them and get them kind of on Spotify, even if we weren't gigging or anything like. You know what I mean? It'd still be nice to have a wee bit of variety on Spotify.
And something's just popped into my head, and I'm so glad it's popped into my head now, because I always, after every session,
remembers it.
I should have fucking asked this, I should have asked that, or I should have expanded on that. But was I right in saying that, and this is going back to film, but was I right in saying that you were going to be in the new Batgirl movie?
No, right, so this is weird as well. So I think someone mistook me in an interview recently about Dog Days that I was actually going to be in the new Black Mirror as well. And I was like, no, I fucking wish. No, I'm not going to be in Black Mirror. I'm not going to be in Batgirl. I was working on the sets. I was a fucking labourer on the set. I was working on the sets. So I was on the set of Batgirl. Aye, so I was working on the set of Batgirl, and I remember saying in an interview, I also worked on another couple of productions, and I worked on Black Mirror. And then when I read the interview a couple of weeks later, it was written as if I'd acted on Black Mirror, and I was like, no, I didn't fucking act in Black Mirror. I fucking wish. So like, no, I didn't act in Black Mirror. So no, I've worked as like painters, labourers, or stagehands behind the scenes. You know what I mean, like on the sets.
Aye.
Which that's been obviously mixed up and
wrong because they're putting two together.
Unfortunately, it's been picked up wrong. How cool would that be, man? You know what I mean? I'm Batgirl. But no, that was cool. I go to see Brendan Fraser King about. That was cool.
That's mad. Actually, one of my friends, Christine from a podcast called Unmuzzled at 67, she was an extra in that movie. And she was gutted that it never got used.
It was a shame because I go with my big mate Ollie, who's a fantastic scenic painter. On Parnley Street, you know Parnley Street, where like A1 Comics, A1 Toys and stuff like that, just behind the Kinatron.
Yeah.
We had all that all kind of shut off, and we were shooting there. And he was going to be doing like the fake graffiti on the front of shops, and I was like, mate, get me a couple of Connors and CMs. So he'd put my initials. There was a big Batman mural, and he had a big CM next to it for me, and I was like, yes, man, that's going to be dynamite. I was like texting people, wait to see my initials in Gotham. And then they're like, nah, it's been axed. I was like, come on, it's a gutter. That'd been cool, you know what I mean? Like, as if I'm walking about Gotham like that corner. It's cool, I like that.
That's amazing, man. And what is next for Conor McCarron? I don't know. Hopefully, well, I've had a few self-tapes. I've got a self-tape I need to send in for Thursday as well, so hopefully they keep coming in. We get something in the pipeline again. Yeah. Hopefully. That'd be amazing.
Something big.
Again, you've given them more than enough to show how awesome actor you are. You know what I mean? You're not called Scotland's answer to De Niro for nothing.
I know. I know how that fucked me. Aye, cool, man. Just put that on me then. Cheers, guys. Robert De Niro. Can you choose something? You know what I mean?
I know. It's almost
Cool.
as if it's a Scottish movie and you're not in it. I'm fucking not watching it.
I know. We'll use that though, man. Is Conor McCarron in it? You're not. Nah, fuck. We're all right. We're all right.
I'm not interested.
No, we need to get. We need to get a big budget one now. Big massive budget. Me and Pricey, yourself, know what I mean? We'll be on the front cover, Miami Vice and all that. That's what we want.
That would be amazing. I know I was creating a poster for, we're going to be doing a watch along of a movie.
Yes.
And next Wednesday, but this will be going out. I'm trying to think of the logistics. Next Tuesday. So tomorrow we'll be sitting down and watching a movie.
Right. Tomorrow.
By the time this comes out.
By the time this one comes out.
And yeah, it's going to be so much fun. But yeah, you can check us out on YouTube, and I'll be posting on social media about that. But where can the people find you online?
What, social media?
Yeah. Do you want to give me a wee follow?
I don't really do much social media. I mean, I'm on Facebook, but I never go onto Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I scroll through that, but that's it.
Yeah.
I really need to pee, Callum.
No, it's okay. We're just
My back teeth are swimming.
We're just about. You've
Sweating
you've had all that coffee.
I know,
that's what
man.
it
I'm
is.
sitting here like that, trying to hold myself.
So on that note, because Conor needs to pee,
I do apologise. That was an
we're gonna-
abrupt end to that, wasn't it?
We're going to end that. So thank you very much for coming on.
thank
It's
you,
been
Callum.
an honour
It's
to have
been
you,
brilliant,
man. And again, you're welcome back anytime.
No, it's been a great privilege, mate. Thank you.
You're going to be obviously we're going to be
We'll
doing
do
the
a watch along of a mysterious movie.
Yeah, with James Price,
With James
and Conor
Price.
McCarron, and if you can't hint at what movie we're going to watch, then we'll need to spell it out. But
Aye.
yes, thank you so much for coming on, and we'll thank you for listening. So we'll see you next Tuesday.